1 and y equals 3x minus 4, these are parallel lines because the slopes are the same. For perpendicular lines, y equals 3x plus 1 and y equals negative 1/3 x plus 4. Because the product of these two, m1 times m2 equals negative 1. So parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines, the product of the slopes has to equal negative 1. Now, if we have an example like y equals 3x plus 1 and y equals negative 1/4 x plus 4, these are none of the above. The slopes are not the same, so they are not parallel. And the product of the two slopes is not negative 1, so they are not perpendicular.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Other questions? Anything else?
No, ma'am, that was all for me.
Okay, very good. So let's continue then with 5.3. Okay, again, I cannot stress enough. I beg my students, I don't mind begging my students, imploring my students to pay attention, to ask questions, to do the work between classes, and it will be a very smooth ride for you. I guarantee you. If you let a module pile up and then try to finish it up in one day, the grade is almost 0. And it happened, and I'm hoping that everyone learned from that. It's not a good idea. Okay, so if you have not completed 5.1 and 5.2, now you're going to have difficulties following what we're doing today. And I have to move on. So that was my concern from the beginning of the class. Okay, so let's look at some examples from 5.3, which is basically 5.3 is a review of what we just did. So if we have 2a, a to the 5th plus 8a, we want to multiply these two. And also, as you see, this is a monomial and this is a binomial. And we discussed how to multiply a monomial by a binomial. And also, I like to review 6x to the 6th minus 7 multiplied by 6x to the 5th. So it doesn't matter if the monomial sits in front of the binomial or it follows the binomial. It doesn't matter. The procedure is the same. We still distribute in the same way. Can anyone give us some help here? Give us a hand with 2a quantity a to the 5th plus 8a. Anyone, please? So when we distribute, we multiply first the numbers and we get 2. Then we multiply 2 exponential notations having the same base. We copy the base and we add the exponents. The same thing here. First we multiply the numbers, and then a times a is a squared. Copy the base, add the exponents. In the same way, we distribute 6x to the 5th to these two terms. So it's 6x, copy the base, add the exponents, and then minus 42x to the 5th. We only had numbers to multiply because there was no variable in the binomial. And that is it. As you see, the results are binomials in descending order. The degree is 6 here, the degree is 11 here. The leading coefficient, the leading term, the leading coefficient is 2, the leading coefficient is 6. Another example, 1/3 n multiplied by 12n minus 6. Can anyone give us a hand with this example? Anyone can give us a hand with this one?
not 100% sure, but I'd like to try.
Please. First, multiply the numbers.
Alright, then 1 times 12 is 12. No, 1/3 times 12, I'm sorry.
We never multiply, we always simplify if we can. We simplify by 3, and we simplify by 3.
Okay, so 4. Simplify by, then you gotta add the exponent, so that'd be n2.
Very good, n squared, very good. And then minus, now I simplify 1/3 with 6, and I get 2.
You have 2, and then this one doesn't have an exponent, so you just add it.
That's it, 2n. That is it. So it's 4n squared minus 2n. Perfect. Any questions on this? Okay. Moving on to other examples. What about two binomials, x minus 2 and x plus 7? And then 3a plus 2 and a plus 2. Let's work on these. And please tell me after simplification what you get. Okay, 1 minute, please. Can anyone dictate the first step in the first one?
Remove parentheses?
Yes, please. This is not addition or subtraction. I cannot remove parentheses. I have to distribute.
X squared minus 14?
X squared plus 7x minus 2x minus 14. So then x squared plus 5x minus 14, because these are like terms. The answer is presented in descending order. The degree is 2. This is a trinomial. The leading term is x squared, and the leading coefficient is 1. Can anyone get us started on the second one, please?
Question for them.
Yes?
So if you did you had the x squared, right? But how'd you put the 7x before the 2x?
It doesn't matter.
2x
7x minus 2x is the same with negative 2x plus 7. We studied that at the very beginning of the class. Addition is commutative and associative. So x times x, x times 7. Negative 2 times x, negative 2 times 7. The order is not important. The grouping is not important when we add and subtract. The order is not important. Addition and subtraction are associative and commutative. Does that answer your question? Perfect. Can anyone continue? Help us with the second one, please. Anyone, please?
(3a squared) and then 6a and then 2a and then plus 4.
Very good. Combine like terms, 3x squared plus 8a plus 4. Again, it's a trinomial. It's in descending order. The leading term is 3a squared. The leading coefficient is 3 and the degree is 2. So let me again emphasize something very important here. When we distribute to all terms. So I will have AB plus AC. Going this way, this is module 5. And when we get to module 6, and the files that I send you, this will be module 6. So when we distribute, this is what we are discussing here. And then going backwards is called factoring. And these are the documents that I just sent you, and that I also posted them in the top module in Canvas. Okay? Good. Moving on to other examples. So let's suppose we have a rectangular box, and this is the length, this is the width, and this is the height. And let's say the height is given to us as being x, the width is given to us as being x plus 7, and let's say the length is given to us as being 5x minus 4. Now, if we're asked to find the volume, then we have to remember the volume of a rectangular solid is length times width times height. So the volume, because now we know how to denote these expressions, the volume is a function of x. I only have to replace the length by 5x minus 4, the width by x plus 7, and the height by x. So let's write them, 5x minus 4, x plus 7, and then x. Please understand that in this particular setup, first we have to distribute these two. We have to use FOIL. In other words, we multiply two binomials. This has to be distributed last. That is the best step. Can you get the correct answer if you do something else? Yes, of course. I don't recommend it though. It's up to you though. So, like we distributed a few minutes ago, or distributed, or if you want, we expanded two binomials. So the same thing. You can say I'm using the distributive law, or I expanded two binomials. To expand. To expand binomials. So then the volume, so I'm continuing from here, is 5x times x, 5x squared, 5x times 7, 35x, negative 4 times x, negative 4x, negative 4 times 7, negative 28. Put it in parentheses, it's a must. And leave x alone till you combine like terms and simplify in parentheses. We just looked at a couple of examples, so I know how to simplify. It's 5x squared plus 31x and minus 28. And now this is the easiest thing to do to distribute x to all terms. So 5x to the third plus 31x squared minus 28x. What does this represent? This is the function called v of x. I know you'll still hear some say v parentheses x, v times x. No, 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 no. V of x. V is the dependent variable, x is the independent variable. This says the name of this expression is v, and the variable you're going to see in it is x, and some numbers and some operations. So v of x is 5x cubed plus 31x squared minus 28x. What does it represent? It represents the volume of this box. It's
one question.
yes?
How'd you get 28 at the end?
5x times x is this, 5x times 7 is this, negative 4 times x is this, negative 4 times 7 is this.
Okay.
Then I combine by terms, and then we distributed x. Even if you think there is a mistake, and even if it isn't, please tell me. I'd like to go back and check. It's okay. Any questions? Any questions? Okay, moving on to other examples. What if I have 3a squared times b to 0? How do I simplify this? I'm specifically told a and b are not 0. How do I simplify this? Can anyone tell us how to simplify it? Is there anything we can do here?
Is it not simplified already?
How much is b raised to 0?
B, 0.
b raised to 0. Any number raised to 0?
1.
Yes.
1.
Yes. So this is 1. So the simplified form is simply 3a squared. Perfect. Now let's work on this. Now this is slightly different because this is a binomial and this is a trinomial. So this time you have to distribute x to 3 terms and negative 3 to 3 terms, combine like terms, and give the answer. So let's work on that, please. I cannot stress enough, if you want clarity and solid skills in algebra, you must redo the problems we do in class. It's up to you. If anything else works for you, I'm fine. Works for me.
I just have a stupid question.
There is no
So-
stupid question. That's why we are here. Rachel, that's why I'm here. Otherwise, you can study on your own.
If it's b to the 0 power, I thought it was just 3a squared and b. Since there's always a 1 in front of the b and b to the 0 power is 1, why wouldn't it just be b?
Because by the order of operations, I have to deal with the power first. I cannot perform any operations before I deal with the power.
And then we don't do anything with the 1? We don't put 1, like 3a squared 1?
3a squared times 1 is 3a squared.
Okay.
Because this is not addition or subtraction. The addition and subtraction requires like terms. But multiplication is always easy. I can always multiply 3 by 1.
Okay.
Better?
Yes.
Okay. So 3 times 1 times a squared is 3a squared. I always say to my students, and I said to you many times, your questions make me a better professor because there are things that I may not think of saying. But if you ask, then I think, oh, I didn't say that. And you're helping the others, and you're helping me, and you're helping yourself. Okay, we are distributing here. Can anyone dictate the first step, please? Please, anybody?
Multiply the second parentheses by x, everything by x.
That's it.
and
I'm
then
ready.
Everything by negative 3.
I'm ready.
Oh, x to the third power. 7x squared. And 1x.
That's it. Now we have to distribute negative 3. So negative 3x squared, negative 21x, negative 3. We have to arrange it in descending order, and in other words, simplify. So this is x cubed because it's by itself. I have to start with a degree, and that's the degree. Then I have to move on to terms with x squared, and I have positive 4x squared. Then I have to move on to the next degree, the next in line, x minus 21x, which is negative 20x, and then the free term. We call this free term because actually it has negative 3 times x to 0, but x to 0 is 1. That's why it does not have x. So this is negative 3. So power 3 or degree 3, degree 2, degree 1, degree 0. I'm not talking about the power of 3. I'm talking about the degree of this term. The degree of this term is 0. Degree 3, degree 2, degree 1, degree 0. The power of 3 is 1. Good. Okay, one more before we start 5.4. Let's work on this.